Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Point. You can tell that in this video, I am really excited. Look where I am standing. Show them where I'm standing.
We are Wimbledon.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Wimbledon, and it's okay. I just want to do a standstill before we go. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is Wimbledon. Listen, I'm a tennis player, and this is the most famous tennis court in the world, and I've come to witness it today. And I must tell you, I'm close to tears, ladies and gentlemen. This is the mecca of tennis. It's the most famous tennis court. This is the home of tennis. Tennis was invented right here, and as a tennis player growing up in Kampala, I used to see all my heroes, Pete Sampras, Andre Agassi, Phil Pussis, all these guys coming here and playing right here. I can't believe I'm about to go in there and touch the furniture, walk on the grass, wherever they were, and it's so real. So I'll catch up with you guys when I get back in there, but it's a touching moment for me. So that's the famous center court, ladies and gentlemen, right there. And I can't wait to go in there and check it out. So I need to go in there and present my receipts, and I'll be right in. The famous center court, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot wait to get in there. This is so unreal.
Wondering why I'm talking to you. Alright, tour's going to take about an hour and a half. We're going to take you inside number one court over there. We're going to go inside the media centre, which you can see high up over there. You're going to see some outdoor areas, and we're going to finish our tour here in the centre court, also known as the single most important tennis court on the planet. Okay? Just for short. I'll be doing all the talking. You think I'm in charge, don't you? This is the boss. This is Yusuf from the museums team. Anything happens, we turn to Yusuf and say, what do we do? You need anything, Yusuf's going to help you out. This is how it works. And when we go through that gate, you're going to need to get past him. And the way you do that is that wristband. And then once we're inside that gate, a couple of rules. One, we need to stick together. Quite a lot of people, as you can see, big group. So first of all, you can't go wandering off on your own. Okay? It's a guiding tour. Follow me, Yusuf at the back. Secondly, because there's so many people, try to keep together as much as you can because you get more value out of it. Okay? Part of the problem is sometimes people want to take the last photograph, and so you end up being sort of stuck at the back and it takes longer to catch up. It's fine, take a photograph. The photographs are good, okay? The only thing is, there is one thing you can't photograph, which is, we have a tennis tournament on today. The British Masters is happening right here, right now. Lots of tennis people around. If they're in tennis whites, no photographs, okay? That's all. All right, before we start the tour, let's find out where you guys are from. Where do you come from? Portsmouth, thank you. Lincolnshire, wonderful.
Manchester.
Manchester.
Yeah.
Thanks. Which bit of Manchester?
Wigan.
Wigan. In Manchester, what are you talking about?
It is.
No one knows where it is, so it's like close to that way.
It's now Greater Manchester.
That's the easiest way to
It's now in
describe it.
Greater Manchester.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be in.
It's Wigan.
No one knows where Wigan is when you say it usually.
From Italy.
From Italy, wonderful. India. Worcestershire. India, together. Excellent. We're together. Nice to know. Thank you. Italy. Spain. Italy and Spain. What are the chances? Oregon, USA, wonderful. Italy. Not at all. All right, not at all. Okay, you can remember my name. Well done. And
ladies and gentlemen.
We're going to get you round. Okay, folks, let's get started. Okay, that's great. Anyone come here this year? No? Nobody here this year. Very interesting. So, look. This was Wimbledon number 138. Okay, so Wimbledon number 138 this year. And of course it was won by an Italian. It was not really a surprise that we had Italy against Spain, because look, Yannick was seeded number 1, Carlos was seeded number 2, 1 and 2. Okay, seeding makes sense. That's what's supposed to happen, right? Didn't quite work that way with the women. Yannick Sinner, since the start of the Open era, his name is the 24th male name on the trophies. Okay, since 68. Alright, so what is that now? That's 57 years. Right, we've got 24 new names in 57 years. This lady, she is number 9 in 9 years. We've had 9 different women's names on the trophies in the last 9 years. And that was a surprise. The number 8 just seeded 8, that's not supposed to happen. That's a surprise. That number was even weirder. 6 love, 6 love. A double bagel, as it's called. This is not supposed to happen either.
In the final.
Last time that happened, in a final, was 1911, I think the right saying. Now, the other big surprise, of course, Marina Sabalenka, ranked number 1, world number 1, seeded number 1. Whisper it, my favourite female player, because she's fabulous. Got beaten by a 13 seed. Okay, 13 seed. This is unheard of, unexpected, totally different. Now, the other reason for stopping here is the flags up the side there and up the side there. Okay, so these flags here tell us that there were over 60 different nationalities competing in the Wimbledon number 138, which took place this year. Okay, would anybody like to guess how many nationalities competed in Wimbledon number 1?
1. Yeah.
Correct. It was
all English.
22
It's gotta be.
English men
Yeah.
competed in the very first Wimbledon. It took place in 1877, about 2 miles away from here in what is now Wimbledon Village. And the grand prize winner of that year was a man called Spencer Gore, and he won the grand prize of £10.
Oh, wow.
The grand prize this year was £3 million.
Oh, God.
And of course, that is what Iga Swiatek won as well, £3 million. Although, since we have quite a few Brits here, minus 20% tax. That's what they have to pay to the government. Now, we have some Italians. Where are you, Italians? Here's one. Here's one there. There's several of you. Can you remember the name of the Italian who almost beat Novak Djokovic? Flavio Cobolli. Exactly. And if you follow Flavio Cobolli's name back through the rounds to his first round match, there he is, playing against David Sukayev. David Sukayev from Kazakhstan, his very first round match. Where did that match take place? Not inside number 1 court, not inside centre court. It took place right there.
Oh, God.
All right, let's go and have a closer look at these courts.
Wow. So outside courts.
This grass here has been steamed to death. Okay, we bring in a giant machine, looks like a big black tent, we blow hot steam into it, and you can see the brown lines represent where that tent has been put onto the grass. It goes to 70 degrees centigrade. 70 degrees centigrade. So right now today, it's probably going to peak around 29, something like that. The 70 degrees centigrade is incredibly hot, and it kills everything. It kills the grass, the roots, the weeds, the insects and bacteria. It just kills everything off. It boils it, and then it turns it into this soupy, lovely mush. And then we take the top surface off and we plant new grass seed into that lovely soupy mush. It grows underneath a sheet, just like this one. That's what we call a germination sheet. That sheet looks like ordinary plastic, but it lets water through and it lets sunlight through, but it doesn't let the birds through. The birds can't get the seeds. They start to grow. As you can see, the sprinklers come on and water the grass automatically. And that leads me into this thing here, this green box. This is, why have we got this box here? We've got some grass, what do we need a box for? Because the technology that goes into making this thing work during the championships is quite intense. If we were to lift up these things here, what you would see underneath is a spaghetti of electronic wiring, which is controlling, obviously, sensors, controlling sprinklers, but also sensors measuring the amount of nitrogen. I can see your eyes glazing, going, I care about nitrogen. Why should I care about nitrogen, Martin? Well, Novak Djokovic cares about nitrogen, because if there's too much nitrogen in the grass, it becomes too slippy. And if there's not enough nitrogen, it starts to dry up and crack really quickly. The nitrogen content in the grass needs to be monitored so we can control it to make it the most effective grass possible. Okay, second thing, how do you watch tennis here? Those of you who've been know, if you haven't been, you don't know. This is where I'm standing, is where temporary seating is erected. 1, 2, 3 banks
Okay.
seating here.
All
and
right.
over there. About 400 seats in total around each court.
Unbelievable.
A
You wouldn't think
high-green
that.
fence
You wouldn't.
separating each one from the walkway, and you get in with a grounds pass. The grounds pass will bring you in just over there, which is where we started the tour. You will walk in that way with a grounds pass, okay? Once you are in the grounds with your grounds pass, you can watch everything, anything that is on court, outside, centre court, 1, 2, and most of 3. So your grounds pass gives you access to all of the other 14 courts which are available with the grounds pass, and to go up on Henman Hill. 14 courts, Henman Hill. If you get in at 10 o'clock in the morning, you can stay till 11 o'clock with that grounds pass, and it will only cost you £30.
What? Really?
Expecting a bit more than that, folks, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Should we go again with that? One of the single most important sporting events in the calendar per year, you get in for £30.
Woo!
They're making me work for it, but yeah. Now, the thing is, when you get in with that £30 grounds pass, you can sit here all day if you want to,
All
but you
right.
can get up and go around all the other courts as well, and you can see any of the tennis that's going on. The only downside is you can't reserve a seat. Once you're sat down, it's your seat, but if you get up and go for a drink or go to the toilet, then it becomes somebody else's seat. Okay, that's the ground pass. We'll cover show courts later on, centre and 1 and 2 and a bit of 3 later on. Okay, now, who's playing out here? I've already told you. Flavio Kobori played against Bernard Kuchev from Kazakhstan right there. Who can remember who lost to Iga Swiatek in the final? What's her name? Amanda Anisimova, exactly that. Amanda Anisimova, really interesting character. She was in the Queen's final as well, just before, and she played her first row match on 15, just up there. And of course, having played on 15, she won. She went to court 12, to step up. She won, she went to court 3, to step up. Eventually, she went to a quarter-final match, which she played against Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova, and that took place inside court number 1. Would you like to see inside court number 1?
Yes.
Good. That's what's happening almost next. On the way to court number 1, we're going to visit an equally historic location. I'll show you when we get there. Look at the score, 6-4, 3-6, and then 2 tiebreakers. They both won 2 sets each by the end of the first day, 22nd of June. They started at 6 p.m. out here and finished at 9 p.m. when it got dark, 2 sets each. Come back tomorrow, knock off that 5th set, sorted. Except, in those days, no 5th set tiebreak allowed, okay? You have to win by a margin of 2 games. And so what happens, They come out, they play at 3 p.m. on this court here. They finish at 9 p.m. when it gets dark. And by that point, they've played 118 games, and the score was 59 to 59. You couldn't separate them. Nothing to separate them. So they had to come back for day 3, end up playing 11 hours 5 minutes, finish off at 70-68. John Isner wins. Hooray for John Isner. John Isner goes through to the next round. John Isner loses 6-3, 6-1, 6-love because he's exhausted. But the lovely story, the lovely backstory is these guys, they were, you know, they were on the tour together, they knew each other, but they weren't kind of besties. But by the end of this 11 hours, they'd obviously bonded because Nicola Mahou has 2 children and John Isner is their godfather.
Oh, that's good.
Right,
I've got a question. I've got a question.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you said this is the longest match,
Yeah.
but I remember watching Tim Henman versus Goran Ivanovic, whatever.
Yeah.
He was, and I think they played that game off nearly a week because it kept raining. Kept
It
raining.
wasn't quite that. It was over 2 days.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm just wondering. I know it went on forever. Anyway,
It was a long old game.
yeah, maybe exaggerating, but I'm wondering how long.
Okay, so let's walk and talk. So
Okay.
the point about that is that it's the longest match in terms of the elimination sheet we saw outside. This has been taken away about 4 or 5 days ago, maybe about a week ago. Okay, so this is the next stage. The grass, as you can see, is not yet ready to play on. And what will happen to that grass is it will go through the elements, sun and wind and rain, snow and ice and freezing temperatures. And some people say to me, Martin, why don't you just close the roof and you can protect the grass from all that nasty stuff? And the point is, grass is a bit like a tennis player. It needs to suffer. It needs to go through the ice and the rain and the cold and the wet and the damp and the dry and all of that to become the best grass it can be. Just like a tennis player has to go through practice and training and all that sort of thing. Okay, so sorry, so I'm just going to say, would you mind not videoing me the whole way through?
Oh, sorry.
It's kind of off-putting.
It's okay,
to be
sorry.
performing to a video that's.
It's all right.
Okay.
It's
I
okay.
mean, feel free to take photos anytime at all.
Can I take your voice though?
I'd rather you didn't record me at all.
Okay.
Because this is my intellectual property and
All right.
that's my stuff. Is that okay?
No problem.
Thank you very much. Sorry about that, folks. I didn't really want to have to say it, but it's kind of putting me off my thread, and I've just lost it completely. Where was I? Tennis! First! So first, the grass needs to get strong to be good at playing things. Second, on the roof, the other first, which is this roof here. The first time it was ever closed was in 2019, because that was when it first arrived. And the first people to ever play under that roof was a young lady by the name of Marilyn Rybarikova. No? No, me neither. But she played against Coco Gauff, who you definitely have heard of. US singles, French singles champion. Okay, Coco Gauff beat Marilyn Rybarikova underneath the roof. This was a first time it ever happened in this space. But she'd already achieved another first in the match before, because this is where Coco Gauff beat Venus Williams. A 15-year-old qualifier beat a previous champion. That is a first which had never happened and hasn't happened since, right out there. It has some other firsts. This year, it had a first. I was witness to that first. The first serve at Wimbledon over 150 miles per hour. For those of you in kilometres, that's 240 kilometres per hour. 150 miles per hour. It was actually 153 miles per hour. And it was a man called Giovanni Mptishi Pericard, and he was playing against Taylor Fritz in here. And the irony is that with the fastest serve ever served at Wimbledon, he still lost that point. Fritz got the ball back and actually won the point because of his rallying skills. That was how different it is. And that kind of tells you everything you need to know about modern tennis in a way. Both that you can serve at that speed, but also that you're interested in. But some of that BBC obviously is everything, primes, everything, ESPN, everything. Last thing before we leave, just have a quick look up here. Nice photograph. 4 lovely Rolex clocks, one for the Australian Open, one for the French Open, one for the US Open, And of course, one for Wimbledon, but ours is the big one. Just because we can, we will. Wimbledon, centre court. Here we go.
On to centre court, ladies and gentlemen.
When did they get rid of like the line
This is the first year that we haven't had 9 months, yeah. It's the first year.
Has it made like a big
We've got
like
headcare
impact
information.
or?
Have been
It's
gone.
mostly been smooth, but things like that have happened.
It was almost too dark to see. Some of you might have watched it on TV when they were playing out here, but you know what? On the TV they have filters which make it look slightly lighter. It was almost pitch black when we were playing in here. And it came to that last minute, and Rafa won. He went absolutely crazy. Do you remember this? Where's my guys from Spain? You remember? Yeah, Carlos went mad. He went up there, through the crowd over there, and he got into that seating area. You see it above the scoreboard. Do you remember inside court number 1? The team sat one there, one there. Here in the centre, they sit right next to each other. And that's there, just above the scoreboard. It's not actually a scoreboard, by the way, it's a poster, a blown up photograph of the score. The scoreboards themselves are too expensive to leave out for the winter, so they've been put away. But above that is where the two teams sit to support, right next to each other. If you watch it on TV, you don't realise that, because every time someone does a good shot, the TV zooms in. You know, when Andy Murray did a good shot, they'd always show Judy Murray's face, right? What you don't realise is you pull back and they're all next to each other. Right? Just below that seating area is the TV commentary box for ESPN. Below us here, there's a mirror image of BBC and the women's results. Rafa gets up there on the day, and remember, of course, the two teams are sat right next to each other, and Roger's team were at this far end here. So Rafa just kisses everybody, Roger's team included, and goes through everybody, kissing and hugging, and then he carries on and goes over to that bit over there. The royal box, the bit with the wooden frame and the many seats there. There's 74 lovely comfy seats. Where you're sitting's pretty comfy. Those are a whole next level up. Rafa went over there. Remember, Rafa Nadal, he's kind of sweaty. You know, he's a big sweaty boy. Right? The best. And by the time he got over there, he was sweating even more because of the excitement. And he went over, and there was the Crown Prince of Spain in a lovely cream linen suit. Rafa gave him a big sweaty Rafa Nadal hug on his linen suit. And of course, that guy, now the King of Spain, was here this year to watch Carlos lose, as he'd been the previous 2 years to watch Carlos win. Obviously, the celebrities sitting there, you know, they do this thing at the start of every day, don't they? They do the roll call of the royal box, you know, all of that kind of. You know, they always have this kind of line of dapper-looking British men, don't they? I mean, this year there was Benedict Cumberbatch, Idris Elba, Hugh Grant, famously, fast asleep. Did you see Hugh Grant? Hugh Grant was asleep. Yeah, why was Hugh Grant asleep? Probably overindulged in the hospitality. Just behind that is where the members' clubhouse is, and that is where they have their afternoon tea. And they have afternoon tea with little cakes shaped like tennis rackets. Can you believe that? With little tennis ball shaped little bonbons. Anyway, so Hugh Grant's up there, celebrities up there. And I'm saying to you all the way round, I said at the start, I've just said it now, this is the single most important tennis court on the planet. You might not agree if you're not from Britain. I'm hoping that those of us from the UK agree on that. But those of you not from the UK might think, oh, you Brits. It is the key here. And it's really important for this, my favourite lady. Very lucky to meet you a few weeks ago in January. In 1967, the year before the Open Era, Billie Jean King won the singles. Okay?
So there's a lot of history here.
Also won the double.
So 1877.
With Rosie Casals.
All the way. Oh goodness. Yeah. So it goes all the way to the current winner.
One just at the board.
That's our history, guys. So, and 2025, it was Sina beating Alcaraz, Djokovic, Federer, Murray.
This is where he broke his neck.
With Sampras, my favorite server, Agassi, Sampras, Krajcik, Sampras, Federer. Okay.
Come on, Tim! Come on, Andy!
So this is Penman Hill where we're standing. You can call it Mount Murray if you want. But this is where people sit and suck in the sunshine. That's court one down there.
Idea of the country is to try to create and maintain well-being headed to the English country garden. That's the idea of keeping it so green and beautiful. To try to make sure that happens, every year we bring on site several thousand this year, we brought on site 100,000 tons.